Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Collegiate iRacing League Formula C Championship here from Watkins Glen International. I'm Matthew Nordberg. You are joining us here on a fabulous Monday night for the Formula C Championship here for the Finger Lakes Grand Prix. Looking like it's going to be a great race tonight. Current temperature is around 65 degrees Fahrenheit with 66% humidity, overcast skies, and a slight breeze at 4 miles per hour for these drivers. Track temp sitting at about 71 degrees Fahrenheit at this absolutely iconic motor track in Watkins Glen, New York, an icon of North American motor racing, hosting series such as IMSA, NASCAR, as well as in the past Formula One, home of the previous Formula One United States Grand Prix. That has obviously moved to Texas now, but back in the 70s, this place was the track to be if you were a Formula One fan, as our Formula C drivers begin their 10-minute qualifying session here around this track, running the full track, not necessarily just the boot like the NASCAR drivers do, as we have drivers making their way around in qualifying now. For those of you new to the CiL, we do run a 10-minute open qualifying session that does include time for all the drivers to be out on the track at the same time as we get a look at one of our drivers here, Nicholas Stockner from Clemson University, driving the 124 car, that orange and purple IR04 machine, looking mighty fine on the track right now as he comes through, I believe that is the heel of the boot, making his way towards the toe of the boot. This track is absolutely incredible. As we get the track map up on the screen now, you see all of our drivers on the track at the moment trying to make their way through the traffic and really try to catch a slipstream around here. Lots of long straightaways that can really give you a lot of time if you can find the slipstream around this track, as we're going to look on board some of our drivers now who are beginning their flying laps. It includes the 24 car of Carmine Caruso from St. John's University, one of his first CiL races, heading down into turn one. Strong entry. You want to be late on the brakes and carry as much speed as you can. Running on board with Carmine now, heading all the way up through these S's. It's pretty much flat out in these IR04 cars. A little bit of a lift there coming through the second part of the S's. And it looks like he's slowing down. I think he might be on an outlap. We'll see if we can catch another driver who's potentially starting their flying lap. Going back to Nicholas Stockner, you do notice that he has the red halo compared to Caruso's blue halo, and that does indicate alumni versus a student classes. Stockner heads down this long backstretch now into the bus stop. Probably the most important part of the track and probably the best overtaking spot for our drivers tonight, as hard on the brakes, a little bit deep into the bus stop, but gets it done, gets to stop before the next car leaves the turn, and through there now he goes, enters the carousel, but he's touched the grass and he's a little bit wide, and I think that's going to be an off track, and that's going to invalidate Stockner's lap time, as a few other drivers continue to make their way throughout the field right now, including Jordan Johnson, who is currently coming through the last corner now. It looks like he's going to try to begin his first flying lap, as we get the timing tower up on your screens now. As the timing tower begins to be populated, that was Jordan Johnson's first flying lap, actually setting the pole position. He was in provisional pole position, but Chris Preston from Fanshawe College sets a provisional time of a 1:46.418. Jordan Johnson set a lap time about 1.5 tenths slower, as other lap times begin to stream in right now. A lot of lap times currently sitting in the 1:47s, but your current pole position time of 1:46.42. On board Jordan Johnson through the bus stop, taking as much curb as you can in both the entry and the exit. That's going to really shortcut the corner and allow you to carry as much speed as you can as they come through the carousel now. You want to really make sure you have a great exit here coming down to the entry of the boot. You want to be hard on the brakes here, carry as much speed as you can, and have a great exit. This track tends to favor exit speed over entry speed more often than not, but it's got to be a delicate balance to find the quickest lap time around here, as Chris Preston comes to the toe of the boot, really hugging that apex curb, as it looks like that's Nicholas Stockner in front of him. I think Stockner is on a bit of a cool-down lap after going off the track earlier. Down to the heel of the boot, Jordan Johnson, you want to brake around that 200 or 150 meter mark, depending on how fast you want to go, as Jordan Johnson gets a little bit wide there, but that is on the track here at Watkins Glen. That's considered part of the track limits. The grass is the maximum there, as he continues on his lap, hugs that apex curve there as Zachary DeWale Athena Leclerc sets the lap time of a 147.7. And Jordan Johnson, is he getting the slipstream, or is he being held up here by Nicholas Stockner coming through the penultimate corner into the last corner now? Probably the trickiest corner on the track, as Jordan Johnson might have been held up a little bit there, as Nick Stockner is going a bit slow down this front stretch, and we'll see if Jordan Johnson can improve on his last lap time. He cannot. He sets a 146.42, as Chris Preston continues to set a faster lap time with a 146.27. For Jordan Johnson. He set a 42.56. That was his best, but I believe it's invalidated due to potentially going off track. We didn't see the time pop up on the timing tower there. Still in second position, though, Jordan Johnson. A couple of your other drivers in the top 5 right now include Esteban Nunez from FIU, driving the 9 machine, coming through the carousel now onto the boot. He's in third position. He's about 3.5 tenths back from Chris Preston. He has a lap time of a 146.62. Behind him, Daniel Hunter from St. Clair College in fourth with a 147.06. Jeremy Rogers from University of Texas A&M University, driving the 012 machine for the alumni. He's representing the alumni well in that fifth position. He has a lap time of a 147.12. Our best lap time for all our drivers popping out now on your timing tower. We see Jeremy Rogers there held up a little bit by Nicholas Stockner. A couple other drivers on quick laps right now, including Athena Leclerc. She just crossed the start-finish line. She moves up into 9th position. She had a 147.9, not quite her personal best around this track. Looking on board with her coming through turn 1 now. That curb is gonna be where you find all the speed as you come through the S's. You don't want to lift here, or else you lose a lot of lap time coming down the straight. Having a slipstream is so advantageous in qualifying down the straight here, because you're going to get a whole lot of lap time getting all that air pushed out from in front of you. It's going to allow you to suck up to the back of that car in front. But Athena Leclerc right now, all by her lonesome, coming down towards the bus stop. You see a flagging in there. He jumps the curb and loses it over the bus stop and hard into the wall. Athena Leclerc, that's going to hurt her lap time. I don't think she's going to finish that lap. Of course, the smoke billows from that engine, and she'll just tow, and she'll end up in pit lane. She'll try again in a moment. Zachary DeWale, her St. Clair College teammate, comes to the bus stop now, seeing the remnants of his teammate in the wall on the outside there. He cut that last corner in the bus stop pretty hard. I don't know if that's going to be an off track for him there, but we'll see as he continues through the carousel. A couple of the drivers on personal best. Nick Stockner, personal best through 4 of the first 5 sectors. Comes to me, personal best in sectors 1, 2, and 4. As Stockner crosses the line with a 146.2, I believe, but he might have gone off track there. Correct, it was a 149.3. But Stockner currently in 18th place at the moment, 3 seconds down from the best lap time, as we see a couple other drivers. Thomas Toomey sets a lap time that will put him 19th fastest. I don't think he has the temperature in those tires quite yet, as we see a few other drivers not setting a whole lot of personal best out there on the track. There might be a little bit of rubber building up that's preventing lap times from increasing, or potentially the track getting a little bit hotter, reducing grip in these Formula 4 tires. But at the moment, Chris Preston from Fanshawe College still on provisional pole position, but there's still about 3 minutes to go in this qualifying session as Zachary DeWale pulls off to the side. He doesn't want any more to do with that lap. He did not like it as a couple other drivers cross the line. Jordan Johnson sets a 146.54. Not quite good enough for provisional pole position, but Dylan DeHaas is coming across the line now. He sets a 146.2, and 147.4. That's going to push him up into the 9th position. Good lap from him in his CiL debut, as a couple other drivers continue to make their way through the track now. Zach Lindler coming through the final sector. He's in the 11th position right now out of Lennar Ryan University. Comes across the line now. He does not improve on his best lap time. A couple other drivers trying to improve, but a lot of yellow sectors out there. Not what we were expecting to see as this qualifying session moved on. There must be some sort of conditions with the track that have changed, that have resulted in a bit slower lap time for these drivers, as Nick Stockner crosses the line with a 48.96. And we ride with Joshua Teagues here. He's at a 148.51, not a personal best for him. But a couple other drivers throughout the field right now setting good lap times. Thomas Toomey just came across the line, currently in 20th position, but he's at a 146 or 149.074. Still not improving on his best lap time. I think it could possibly be that the drivers with the quick lap times might be sitting in the draft. So a couple of our drivers not really improving on lap times right now. Jordan Johnson on a good lap. He has 3 personal bests in sectors 1, 3, and 4 as he comes through the penultimate corner, making his way into the last corner now. Probably the trickiest corner on this track, that last corner, just because of the way, if you get it right, it feels amazing, but if you get it wrong, you're out of the groove, and the camber is just not working with you, and it can be so hard. Same in turn 1. The camber's not really working with you a whole lot unless you get it exactly right on that curb. And I think the best drivers really maximize their speed through the first and the last corner, because I think you can really carry a lot more speed easily in the rest of the track, maybe except the bus stop. And, you know, the best drivers separate themselves in those corners that are the trickiest. A couple other drivers setting good lap times right now. It looks like Nicholas Stockner. He had multiple personal bests in all sectors up to this point. He's coming through the exit of the boot now. He has 3 personal bests in sectors 1, 2, and 3. Green sectors all around. Green sector in sector 4. We'll see what time he sets as he crosses the line here as he comes through the penultimate corner. With that red halo come through the last corner. He's a little wide coming through the corner. He really wanted to hit that apex curve, and he touches the wall. Hopefully that didn't give him a 0x. That would validate his lap. As Stockner crosses the line, he sets a 149.4, I believe. 148.9 as Thomas Toomey, another driver, setting personal best laps right now on the track. He crosses the line for the University of Virginia right as the session ends, but I don't know if that lap time is going to count. We'll see. But that is the end of your qualifying session. We saw a lot of personal best, or a lot of quick lap times come at the start, and lap time seemed to fade as the session went on. But on pole position for race 1 of this evening, it's going to be Chris Preston from Fanshawe College. Jordan Johnson from Kent State University will be lining up on his outside. Esteban Munoz from Florida International will line up 3rd, and Daniel Hunter from St. Clair College leading the St. Clair College group in 4th. Jeremy Rogers, representing the alumni from Texas A&M University, in 5th, with Louis Diaz from Florida International to his outside. Dylan DeHace, apologies for mispronouncing the name, in his CiL debut from Cayuga Community College will start 7th, and Austin DeLong, the CiL veteran, in 8th outside of him. Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College will be 9th, and Rhett Crane will start 10th for Ball State University. Zachary Lindler will start 11th from Lennar Ryan, and Athena Leclerc from St. Clair College will be your 3rd St. Clair College car, say that 3 times fast, on the grid, and she's starting in 12th position. Andrew Williams from Clemson will start 13th, and Tyler Stone outside of him from St. Clair. Daniel Rodriguez in 15th, and Christian Hill in 16th. Teagues in 17th, Pacini in 18th, Victor Roldan in 19th, and Nicholas Stockner in 20th. Thomas Toomey will be 21st, Carmine Caruso in 22nd. Our Muhammad Alif with the poor qualifying session will be 23rd, and Jeff Pete will be 24th. Large grid for this race tonight, as Kyle Wood from Ball State will be 25th, Ethan Head 27th from Tennessee, and Peter Gaspich from Clemson will start 28th. That rounds out your grid for this race as we get ready to go here momentarily from Watkins Glen International for the CiL Finger Lakes Grand Prix. Race 1 of 2 this evening. Grid set by that qualifying order we just saw. As our drivers get ready to see the lights turn on and get ready for this starting procedure. Jordan Johnson, he's on the outside of Chris Preston, our pole position winner. As the lights come on and the engines rev, we are green here for the Finger Lakes Grand Prix. Chris Preston gets a great start off the line. Jordan Johnson follows it behind him. Esteban Munoz and Daniel Hunter are going side by side down into turn 1. Hunter on the outside in that red and black car from St. Clair College, and Munoz will move himself up into 3rd position. Hold on to the 3rd position, I should say, as Daniel Hunter continues to make a fight through the S's now. Further back to the field, looks like Zachary DeWale has made up a position on Austin DeLong, and Rhett Crane and Austin DeLong are going side by side now through the S's as they move their way down towards the bus stop. DeLong is in front of Rhett Crane now from Ball State University, side by side at the front. Chris Preston and Jordan Johnson using that slipstream to his advantage. Jordan Johnson just can't quite get there in the end to make the move. He's going to have to sit in second as Chris Preston continues to hold on. Looks like we have spins throughout the bus stop. Dylan DeHaas, Zachary DeWale have both spun in the bus stop. Christian Hill, Peter Gaspich, and Alexander Pacini have all been involved in incidents now through the bus stop, but Jordan Johnson is still trying to hassle for the lead right now as they enter the boot. Chris Preston doing a great job of defending that fight so far as they come down towards the toe. Lots of chaos in the pack behind as it looks like a bit of a gap has developed from fourth to fifth. Red Crane up 5 spots. Camille Caruso, excuse me, up 13 spots. Our biggest mover by far, up into 9th. Lots of action going on throughout the field right now. We'll be able to cover that wreck as soon as we can kind of break away and maybe once this battle at the front dissipates. But right now we want to stay on board with the live action as Chris Preston from Fanshawe College leads Jordan Johnson through the penultimate corner of lap 1. Doing a good job so far here at Preston, making sure he's holding off that second place challenger of Jordan Johnson. Jordan Johnson's been quick all season long, and he wants to make up another win here tonight for the Finger Lakes Grand Prix. Elsewhere throughout the field, we had a bunch of drivers move up a ton of spots after that first lap. Drivers involved in the first lap incidents included Daniel Hunter, Louis Diaz, Dylan DeHaas, and Austin DeLong, all started in your top 10, all now at the back of this pack, and they are out of this race. As we see Jordan Johnson right up to the rear wing of Chris Preston as they go side by side here, coming down the back stretch towards the bus stop. It's going to be exciting to see who gets the overtake done as Preston defends that inside line with all his might, and it looks like he's going to be able to hold off that position through the bus stop right now. But in third place, that's Esteban Munoz. He's hunting, he's sitting and stalking and waiting for his opportunity to present itself. Chris Preston, though, continues to lead through the carousel. Chris Preston has got himself a bit of a gap now, about 3/10 from him to Jordan Johnson, but Esteban Munoz is really hunting Jordan Johnson now, 3/10 behind them as well. As elsewhere throughout the field, we have movement between Lindner, DeWale, and Pacini. Those three have been going at it. It looks like there might have been a little bit of contact between them as Chris Preston comes down the backstretch towards towards the toe of the boot. Can't quite get there though, and Jordan Johnson's gonna have to settle into second place as Chris Preston goes a little bit wide, but we got a lot of action throughout the field right now. It looks like Andrew Williams catching Rhett Crane for that 4th position. Daniel Rodriguez and Carmen Caruso are also very close to one another as they chase down Tyler Stone from St. Clair College. That's for the 6th, 7th, and 8th position. Dino Leclerc is trying to chase down Thomas Toomey from UVA. A couple tenths separating those two drivers. But at the front of the field right now, Chris Preston is going to be leading another lap here as they come across the line. 20-minute race here, so a long way to go, but Chris Preston likes where he is right now. Looking further through the pack, it looks like Daniel Rodriguez from Auburn in the middle of a 3-wide battle here. That's Tyler Stone to his outside. On his inside, that's going to be Carmen Caruso. Caruso's going diving down the inside. He makes the move stick. Absolutely fantastic move from Caruso there to move himself up from 8th to 6th in a single corner. But at the front of the field, Jordan Johnson and Chris Preston are going to go at it again as they head down towards the bus stop. Preston doing that move he's done before, holding that inside line, but Jordan Johnson has a bit more of a run here. He's not going to stick it around the outside as he takes as much curb as he can. Looks like Esteban Munoz was thinking of sticking a nose in there potentially, but he thinks better of it as there's a long way to go as these front three have started to pull out a bit of a gap to Andrew Williams in 4th, now 5 seconds behind these three as the podium places continue to stretch their advantage here at Watkins Glen. Speaking of Andrew Williams, Rhett Crane from Ball State University now is trying to think of making a move here potentially for the top 5. Currently 2.5 tenths behind right now, heading into the heel of the boot. Trying to set himself up the best he can, but at the front of the field, Jordan Johnson and Chris Preston are going side by side down towards the toe. Preston on the inside, Jordan Johnson around the outside, and Jordan Johnson almost makes it stick, but they're going to go side by side up through these next corners as Jordan Johnson gets the position done under braking. Jordan Johnson moves himself up into second, but he's wide coming out of the corner. That's going to give Chris Preston the opportunity to make a move and get that lead back, and he does before the next corner. Great job from Chris Preston there using the over-under to keep that position as through the final corner now, Chris Preston is going to be happy, but Jordan Johnson is going to be kicking himself for that move as he comes under pressure from Esteban Munoz now down the front stretch. Down the front stretch they come. Chris Preston still in the lead here after a great battle with Jordan Johnson a couple of corners ago. But Esteban Munoz, I think he just biding his time as it looks like Jordan Johnson has a great exit out of turn 1. That's going to give him speed all the way down this backstretch through the S's and down to the bus stop. Elsewhere throughout the field, Rhett Crane was able to get past Andrew Williams for that 4th position, but we ride on board Jordan Johnson now. Around the outside again he goes, trying to make that outside move work into the bus stop. Can he get it done this time by? It looks like he's got a little bit of extra speed compared to Chris Preston, but can't get it done as they go side by side. Almost touched through the bus stop. Jordan Johnson avoiding action there as Esteban Munoz wants to stick a nose to the inside through the carousel, but Jordan Johnson, Chris Preston, good clean racing there. Bit close, but no contact in the end. I think Jordan Johnson thought he had a bit more room maybe, and Chris Preston closed the door and said, not this time. Looking throughout the field right now, our biggest mover by far is Carmine Caruso, up 16 spots since the start of this race. Started in 22nd and now 6th. Absolutely great job from Caruso so far. We saw him make that double move as well coming into turn 1 a couple laps ago, but this time last lap, Jordan Johnson thought he had the move done for the lead, but Chris Preston fought back, was able to come back and regain the lead as Andrew Williams looks to be going side by side with Rhett Crane. But he loses out a little bit there, and that's going to cost him some time. As behind him, Carmine Caruso is looking to gain even more spots as still at the front. Chris Preston leading from Jordan Johnson and Esteban Munoz. Munoz has started to fall off the back of Jordan Johnson just a little bit now as they come down towards turn 1. Jordan Johnson still in 2nd place, but I think that slipstream down towards the bus stop is going to give Esteban Munoz the chance to catch back up, as I bet these two are going to go side by side once again here momentarily. Andrew Williams is about to go side by side with Rhett Crane right now. We'll catch in as they go side by side through the S's. That's going to be a tough one to pull off for Andrew Williams, but they're going to do it side by side. But at the front of the field as well, it's side by side between Chris Preston and Jordan Johnson. And you see in the background, Andrew Williams has gotten it done as Jordan Johnson makes the move around the outside of Chris Preston. Late on the brakes, he gets the move done. Absolutely fantastic stuff. He's got a very, very strong left foot for breaking that IRO4 car, and Jordan Johnson around the outside of the bus stop. You don't see that one very often. Makes his way to the lead of the CiL Finger Lakes Grand Prix here in race 1. Coming to the boot now, further back, looks like Rhett Crane wants to make a move and gain that 4th spot back from Andrew Williams. These two have been fighting for a couple laps now, and that's really bringing in Caruso, Rodriguez, and Stone back into this fight, as it looks like Jordan Johnson wants to stretch his legs at the front of the pack right now. Coming down towards the toe of the boot, it's going to be Rhett Crane leading Caruso, Williams leading Crane, leading Caruso, as Crane's just a bit too far back to make a move there, but we'll see if we can gather it up and potentially make a move into turn 1. Andrew Williams did a good job last lap in turn 1, but he's a little wide in this corner. That's going to cost him some time and some speed, but he's able to hold on to that 5th position as this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th has started to close up now. Only a few tenths separating all 4 of these cars at the moment. As you see, even I believe that's Toomey and Tyler Stone in the background. Excuse me, Rodriguez and Stone in the background, trying to catch up to these 4 cars, as well as Jordan Johnson, once he got past Chris Preston, set the fastest lap of this race with a 1:46.13. He's now 5 tenths in front of Chris Preston. We'll see if Preston is able to make a comeback later on in this race and use that slipstream to his advantage. But currently using that slipstream to his advantage is Caruso, making a move on Rhett Crane here on the outside of the last part of the S's, and he's going to think better of it. He wants to tuck into that slipstream and use as much of it as he can coming down to the bus stop, trying to make a move around the outside here. It's very, very difficult to do. We saw Jordan Johnson do it earlier, but can Caruso do it now? He cannot, as Rhett Crane continues to hold on to that 5th position, and that's going to give Andrew Williams a little bit of breathing room up in 4th position, just stretching his legs and pulling away here, as it looks like Munoz maybe spun or crashed, as he's now 8 seconds behind Chris Preston. We saw him only a couple tenths before, and now Andrew Williams is only a 1.5 seconds behind Munoz. Further back in the pack, looks like Jeff Pete is trying to make a move here on, I believe that's Peter Gaspich from Clemson University. He's going to get that done. That red and yellow Minnesota Twin City machine is able to get the move done and move himself up into 14th position. But further up in the front of the field, it looks like Crane goes a little bit wide, defending from Caruso. It looks like Caruso's going to try to dive it down the inside here. This corner can't quite get the move done. We have a lot of attrition in this race so far, so we don't want to see any more contact there, I should say. as Crane and Caruso continue to battle it out through the penultimate corner there as Andrew Williams leads this pack. He chases down Munoz, but at the front of the pack, Preston has started to close that gap just a little bit. 5/10 of a second separating your two leaders at the moment. Bit of a gap between them and third position Munoz, with Williams following right behind Munoz. Caruso chasing down Crane, also chasing down Williams, coming through the first corner up through the S's. He's going to try to position himself as best he can, get that slipstream all the way down to the bus stop. It looks like Preston is closed up within a couple tenths now of Jordan Johnson through the bus stop, but that gap's going to widen as they exit the bus stop because it's just so difficult to pass through there. But Caruso wants to get it past them before the bus stop as he goes around the outside of Crane. St. John's College versus Ball State College. It looks like around the outside, Caruso gets it done late on the brakes. He's almost super loose and almost loses it, but he's able to hold on to that position, and Crane is going to try to fight back around the outside of the St. John's University machine. Can't quite get it done. Caruso moves himself up into the top 5 after starting way back in 22nd position, but Crane's not giving this up easily as he goes around the outside of Caruso. Can't quite get the move done, and he slots right back in behind him. Absolutely fantastic job by Caruso so far in his first CiL race for St. John's University. Starting 22nd, he's now 5th. An absolutely stellar race from him, avoiding some of the first lap carnage and then just following up. And as we see, there was a change in lead at the front of the field. Looks like Jordan Johnson was involved in an incident at the front of the field. Jordan Johnson now 5 seconds behind Chris Preston. We're going to get a replay of Jordan Johnson spinning in a moment here. Coming out of the carousel, down towards the entrance of the boot. Looks like he gets a little too deep into the corner maybe, and he just overcorrects and he spins. He does a good job of avoiding the wall and turning himself back the right way around to give chase again to Chris Preston, but that's going to cost him a ton of time. Unfortunate for Jordan Johnson, but going back live, it looks like Caruso has pulled out a bit of a gap to Rhett Crane behind him now, and Caruso is going to be looking for another position here, trying to make himself up 18 spots since the start of this race. Tyler Stone, though, is trying to also move up another spot. He's currently up 6th position. The 20 car from St. Clair College is trying to make a move on Daniel Rodriguez from Auburn University. 3/10 separating those drivers at the moment as they come down the backstretch towards the bus stop. That 3/10 is going to turn into 2/10 as they hit the braking zone, and after they hit the braking zone, that gap's going to increase once again. But Caruso is doing a great job of chasing down Andrew Williams for that 4th position at the moment. 13.5 minutes gone, about 6.5 minutes remaining in this race 1 of the CiL Finger Lakes Grand Prix. At the front, Chris Preston from Fanshawe College is doing a great job so far, trying to defend from Jordan Johnson after Jordan Johnson had a bit of a spin coming into the boot. But right now, it's Andrew Williams who's under pressure from Carmine Caruso. Down into the toe of the boot. The gap only 2/10 of a second. I think Caruso had a really good corner there. He might have a chance to make a move into this next corner. He dives to the inside through the middle of the corner here. It looks like Caruso is going to have a great chance to make the move done on the exit of the corner, side by side, coming to the penultimate corner. But Andrew Williams had a very good exit. He was able to carry the speed, but can't quite get him clear as Andrew Williams holds onto the position around the outside of the penultimate corner, and he'll lead through the last corner of this lap as we go over to start lap 10 of this race. As Jordan Johnson set a lap, the fastest lap of this race that last time by a side-by-side Andrew Williams, Caruso go down into turn 1. Caruso breaks a little bit earlier than expected, but they're going to go side-by-side through the corner, and a good job from Andrew Williams to carry a whole lot of speed through turn 1, but that's going to put Caruso under pressure from Rhett Crane now. Rhett Crane did a good job defending earlier. Now it's his turn to attack Caruso through the S's up towards they go to the bus stop. That long straightaway is going to give all the 2 cars behind Williams a chance to make a move as Caruso dives to the inside of Williams, and to the outside of Williams, it's going to go Rhett Crane, but no, Andrew Williams makes the blocking move as they go inside. What a move from Rhett Crane, diving to the inside of Andrew Williams before Williams could get to the inside because he was side by side with Caruso. A very opportunistic move from Rhett Crane, and now Rhett Crane's going to want to move up in 4th position as Caruso is up 18 spots now, starting this race in 22nd, now in 4th. Fantastic race pace from Caruso, but Caruso is under pressure now from Rhett Crane. That 6 car from Ball State University wants to make this position, and he can't quite get there through the heel of the boot. That inside line is oh so powerful through this corner as you see him try to make the move down into the toe. He's about a tenth and a half behind at the moment. He's going to use this straightaway to use the slipstream and potentially send one down the inside as Caruso goes defensive. Inside line is going to be able to hold off Rhett Crane as Rhett Crane just tucks back in, and he wants to maybe bide his time a little bit more as at the front of the field, that gap between Preston and Johnson, about 3.8 seconds at the moment. Not a whole lot of time left in this race. There's a little bit of action between Crane and Caruso now as they come towards the penultimate corner of this lap. Rhett Crane from Ball State University still behind Caruso from St. John's University as Caruso goes a little bit defensive into the last corner. As this is going to be a great view as Caruso defends from Crane for another lap. Down into turn one, Rhett Crane late on the brakes, of course, but can't quite get there. About a tenth and a half, 2 tenths separating these two cars as they come down this backstretch now through the S's. Slipstream effect so powerful. He goes nose to tail through this section of corners at the moment. Closest battle on the track, and Caruso's going to really hug that inside line. He wants to hug the curb all the way down the long back stretch here, coming down towards the bus stop. Will Crane have enough speed to make the move around the outside? Hard on the brakes. It looks like no, he does not. But Caruso gets a little bit loose going through the bus stop. That's going to cost him a ton of time, and Rhett Crane has to take avoiding action. That costs him time as well, and that's going to bring Andrew Williams back into this fight as Tyler Stone and Daniel Rodriguez have swapped positions. I think Daniel Rodriguez had a bit of a moment, and he lost some time, and he's fallen down the field quick now as Andrew Williams is back in this fight for the top 5. There's Rhett Crane a little wide coming into the boot. Now Rhett Crane's in the unenviable position of needing to defend and attack at the same time. As he goes a little wide, he almost spins on the grass coming out of the heel. That's going to give Andrew Williams the opportunity to make a move down into the toe of the boot. Side by side they go. Who's going to get there first? It's going to look like Andrew Williams has the speed to get the move done before they reach the braking zone. Getting on the grass, just unfortunate for Rhett Crane. It's cost him a ton of time down the backstretch as he tries to make a move to the inside of the exit of the boot as they come back down towards the penultimate corner of this racetrack. 3 tenths separating them, and Caruso looking in his mirror, and he's thinking, my oh my, what a gift. He's now pulled out his advantage over Rhett Crane and Andrew Williams to a second as Rhett Crane wants to make the move again down this front stretch. He did it before. We'll see if he can do it again as they go side by side. He pulls out from the slipstream. Andrew Williams in the orange and purple car on the outside. Rhett Crane on the inside in that red and white Ball State machine. It looks like Rhett Crane's going to get the move done, but Andrew Williams wants to fight this one back, going through the S's side by side. He takes a bit of a wider line. He'll have the inside line for the second part of the S's, though, and I think that's going to give him the advantage. He clears Rhett Crane coming out of the S's, but this long back stretch towards the bus stop is going to give Rhett Crane the advantage to potentially move to the inside, and he does so. Andrew Williams unable to defend, just not quick enough as Rhett Crane hard on the brakes to the inside of the bus stop as they make a little bit of contact between Andrew Williams and Rhett Crane. Williams goes spinning off. He believes he avoids the barrier and he tries to spin himself back around. Andrew Williams, unfortunate contact there. That was not his fault. Hopefully he does not. It looks like he has suspension damage. He's going to have to tow to the pits there. Unfortunate event from Andrew Williams. He was running such a clean race and then contact, which wasn't his fault. Looks like Rhett Crane just a little too hard on the brakes and just got way too deep to the entry of the corner and made contact with Andrew Williams. We'll get a replay of that here in a second. Oh, he's already crashing there. We're going to have to back it up. Rewind the tapes. As coming down, we want to see the onboard from Rhett Crane here. Rhett Crane is going to be hard on the brakes. And, yeah, I just don't think... I don't think he thought Andrew Williams was going to fight that one as hard as he did. And it looks like Rhett Crane almost has a little bit of suspension damage as well. That wheel looking like it turned a bit to the left there. Yeah, going down the straight. He definitely has the toe bent out of that Formula IRO4 car. But at the moment, at the front of the field, it's going to be Chris Preston as he takes the white flag. So this is the last lap of race 1. Coming down the backstretch now into the bus stop for the final time. Chris Preston has done a fantastic job this race of defending and attacking and taking advantage of mistakes where he can, as he currently has a 3.5 second lead over Jordan Johnson. Jordan Johnson had the lead and made an unfortunate error through the entry of the boot, costing him a potential win as he spun in. He just lost a ton of time to Chris Preston. Jordan Johnson is trying to make up as much of it as he can, but not quite enough as Chris Preston still leaves the field. But further throughout the field, Jeff Pete and Nicholas Stockner going at it side by side. Tyler Stone and Rhett Crane also going at it. Rhett Crane having a little bit of damage from contact with Andrew Williams. I think he's dropped into the field now as these two come across the line for the final time this race as they start their last lap. Rhett Crane just damage is causing him to be a bit slower, and Tyler Stone took advantage of that and moved himself up into 5th. But how about Carmine Caruso? Up 18 positions since the start of this race. A couple other drivers up a massive amount, include Thomas Toomey up 14. He's in 7th right now, as well as Jeff Pete, who we're riding with at the moment. He's in 11th, but he's up 13 spots. But the position that they all want is first position, as Chris Preston from Fanshawe College comes across the final corner now. He's going to win race 1 of the CiL Finger Lakes Grand Prix as Barney the Flagman waves that checkered flag, and Chris Preston crosses the line to win race 1. Jordan Johnson, about 4 seconds behind, crosses the line now. But further up the field, Tyler Stone and Rhett Crane have still been going at it side by side. Rhett Crane got back past Tyler Stone after being passed earlier in this lap. Tyler Stone about 0.2 of a second back. Can he make the move into the last corner, potentially get that top 5 finish in race 1? No, he cannot. Can he get the drag race to the line? They're going to go side by side, coming to the stripe. Tyler Stone on the inside. He can't quite get there. Rhett Crane is going to win that battle by 27,000ths of a second. Great job from Tyler Stone there to try and fight that one back, but just not quite enough in the end as Thomas Toomey comes across the line in 7th. Joshua Teagues is going to line up in 8th. He's going to come across the line in 8th, I should say, as Lindler behind him comes 9th. And Stockner, he's your 10th position driver right now, defending from Jeff Pete. And it looks like Nicholas Stockner, if he is able to hold on to the position, will be the provisional pole position holder for race 2. For those of you who are new to the CiL, we do a top 10 invert from race 1 to race 2 as Jeff Pete has a good one out of the last corner. He can challenge for that 10th position here now as to the line they come. And it looks like Stockner's going to win that one. 74/100th of a second coming to the line, and Nick Stockner in 10th. Jeff Pete from the University of Minnesota Twin Cities in 11th, and behind them Zachary DeWale 30 seconds back. He's going to round out your 12th position driver from St. Clair College. Unfortunate incident with him earlier, getting into a wreck that cost him a chance to be in the top 5. But Nicholas Stockner from Clemson University is going to be your pole position winner for race 2 after the top 10 invert is done. Great job from him to make sure he is able to secure that position as DeWale comes across the line now. A couple other drivers a few laps down, Victor Roldan from St. Clair and Christian Hill, both of them multiple laps down. That's going to finish off your race 1 here for the CiL Finger Lakes Grand Prix. Another race coming up here momentarily, but we're going to get the results of Heat 1 here in just a moment. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. As trying to get the results from the first heat. No, it doesn't want to show. Oh, here we go. I was premature. It looks like at the front of the field, it's going to be Chris Preston from Fanshawe College. Winning Heat 1, Jordan Johnson from Kent State University, unable to get to Preston in the end, will round out your second spot. And that last podium finisher, Esteban Munoz, we saw him have a spin earlier, but he was able to recover and finish 3rd. We saw Carmine Caruso in his CiL debut from St. John's University storm through the field from 22nd to 4th position. Great race from him as Rhett Crane, who got involved in an incident with Andrew Williams a couple laps to go from the finish, will round out your top 5. He's from Ball State University. Tyler Stone from St. Clair College will be 6th, with Thomas Toomey from the University of Virginia in 7th. Joshua Teagues from Buena Vista in 8th, and Zach Lindler from Lennar Ryan will be 9th. Stockner from Clemson University is your 10th place finisher. He's going to be on the provisional pole for race 2 due to that top 10 invert, and Jeff Pete, just a couple hundredths of a second behind him, will sadly miss out on that top 10 invert and start 11th in race 2. He finished 11th in race 1. Your last driver on the lead lap is Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College, involved in an incident in lap 1, resulted in him kind of dropping through the field and gaining a few spots due to the heavy attrition we saw in race 1. Excuse me. Andrew Williams, we saw him get involved in an unfortunate incident with Rhett Crane in the bus stop. That resulted in him dropping from 5th to 13th in the race. Dylan Denhase, I'm so sorry for butchering the name, from Cayuga Community College will round out your finishers who are 1 lap down. Daniel Rodriguez from Auburn will finish 2 laps down. Athena Leclerc also finishing 2 laps down from St. Clair College. and Victor Roldan will finish 5 laps down from St. Clair. Christian Hill in 18th rounds out your top 18. A couple other drivers who were involved in some early race incidents, I should say. Peter Gaspich, Ethan Head, Jeremy Rogers, Alexander Pacini, Louis Diaz, Kyle Wood, Daniel Hunter, Austin DeLong, and R. Muhammad Alif all finish pretty much on the tail end of the race due to having incidents in the first couple of corners that put him out of contention for a good finish in that race. But second race is a chance for do-overs, redos, mulligans, however you want to say it. It's a chance for second opportunities as these drivers battle for championship points in this season. This race currently our penultimate race. We have one race to go, or one event to go, I should say, at the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time for the Formula C series. But these drivers have a couple more minutes to get their thoughts together between race 1 and race 2, maybe playing out a bit of strategy as well. Just a few minutes to go here in this warm-up session, just 1 minute, 60 seconds, technically 65 if you're keeping minute count, as we have a couple of drivers trying to get some provisional lap times in during the warm-up session. Jeremy Rogers from Texas A&M University, home of the National Collegiate Meat Judging Champion. Saw that recently, so congratulations to those folks at Texas A&M for judging the meat the best. Not quite sure how that works. I'm not vested and familiar with the art of meat judging, but obviously those fine folks at Texas A&M University are for sure. And if I'm looking for some high quality meats, I'll ask Jeremy if he knows anyone who can judge that meat for me. A couple other drivers, a couple other alumni trying to get some practice laps in. Christian Hill from Mount St. Mary's University, as well as Alexander Pacini. Those drivers with the red next to their name on the timing tower, all alumni, all have the red decals on their cars for the halos and rear wings, as well as having a 3-digit number. Students having a 2-digit number and blue decals with green for their names on the timing tower. Mostly students here, but a couple alumni mixed in, as students and alumni in the Formula C series are racing for the same points. As our warm-up session comes to an end here, times do not matter in warm-up, of course. They just get a feel for the track conditions, the track temperature changing. As we look at our grid here for race 2, looks like it's going to be Nick Stockner on pole from Clemson University. He finished 10th in race 1, and as a result, he'll start first in race 2. Zach Lindler, his former Clemson teammate, now at Lennar Ryan, will line up in second to his outside, and Joshua Teagues will be third. Thomas Toomey in fourth, and Tyler Stone in fifth. Rhett Crane had a bit of an incident in race 1. He'll line up in 6th, and Carmine Caruso will start 7th after starting 22nd in race 2. Esteban Munoz from Florida International will line up 8th. Jordan Johnson from Kent State and Chris Preston, your top 2 finishers in race 1, will line up 9th and 10th in race 2. That's going to round out your top 10 from your top 10 invert. Your positions 11 to the back of the field will be the way they finish in race 1. Jeff P, we saw he could barely miss that on that first position. A little bit of a drag race to the line with Nicholas Stockner and Zachary DeWale. After having contact in the first race, will line up 12th after kind of clawing his way back to the field due to some attrition. Drivers getting ready here as their engines rev, getting ready to go here for race 2 in the CiL Finger Lakes Grand Prix as the lights go out, and it looks like Zach Lindler has a fantastic start off the line. He's going to be challenging Nicholas Stockner for the lead here in turn 1. Side by side on the outside, that's going to be Lindler, and on the inside is Stockner. Stockner late on the brakes, he's going to hold on to the lead and further out throughout the pack. They're going side by side. They're going to tussle it out through turn 1. No contact so far, but they head up towards the S's. They're side by side. There's going to be some contact for sure, as it looks like 3 wide through the S's almost, as Lindler tries to go on the outside of Stockner, side by side through the S's. Stockner's going to try to hold off on the inside. He'll have the inside line for the bus stop coming up here for the next corner, but will Lindler have the speed to get the move done before they get to the braking zone? Side by side they go down to the bus stop. Looks like Stockner's going to be able to hold on to the lead right now, but it looks like he goes deep into the corner. Lindler's going to do a great job of taking the overspeed and going a great job to the corners. They spin behind him. Chaos behind them as Toomey spins. It looks like Munoz may be involved as tons and tons of drivers get involved in the bus stop. So much action, I can't even get the words out of my mouth as Jordan Johnson has somehow navigated his way from 9th to 2nd now, potentially, as he challenges Nicholas Stockner here. Looks like a couple other drivers who potentially are involved include Thomas Toomey, Rhett Crane, Chris Preston. Drivers who were in the top 10 in race 1 are now out of this race due to contact. Looks like we have a full course caution here in the CiL Finger Lakes Grand Prix. The yellow flag is out. Maybe the yellow flag indicators are on our timing tower right now. I don't see anything from race control. It looks like the lights on the side of the track are yellow. We've got a full course caution here. That's going to give us a chance to look at this replay and see what happened in the bus stop. I think it was, I believe it was the yellow and black car of Alexander Pacini, maybe. We saw him spin off from the outside, and behind him just chaos erupted. We're going to get a replay of that here momentarily as the yellow flag is out for a major incident in the bus stop. We'll see if we can get a view here that captures everything adequately as we get the replay going here. It looks like we're riding on board that yellow and black car of Joshua Teagues. We'll see what happens to him as we kind of go quarter speed throughout the field. It looks like Stockner getting a little bit deep into the corner, and behind him, it looks like Rhett Crane got into the back of Teagues, and then behind them, it looks like the 20 car. I want to say that is... Can't quite tell who that is, but chaos as Thomas Toomey gets involved with the wreck. It's Caruso and Chris Preston as Rhett Crane also spins out. And then throughout the field, I think that's the 2 car, I want to say, of Dylan DeHaas. He gets involved, and then it's just chaos throughout the rest of the field as they try to come back on the track and collect themselves. It's difficult to get a good angle through the bus stop. We're going to rewind that here. See what happened. I think Thomas Toomey was just in the middle of everything because Stockner went deep into the corner. That's the 20 car of Tyler Stone spinning through the grass, as well as Thomas Toomey spins in the middle of the track. Jordan Johnson doing a good job to avoid, and that's the 9 car behind him of someone. Apologies, I can't quite find who the 9 car is. But yeah, throughout the field, it looks like Caruso tries to come back on the track, and he clips a couple cars. He spins right in front of everyone. That's the 02 car who just T-bones him. The Zachary DeWale car. Unfortunate for DeWale. He's had some pace, but just incidents catching up to him. And then the 03 car from Clemson University. I want to say that's Gaspich. Potentially. Yeah, Peter Gaspich, he gets involved. The 04, that's Muhammad, or that's not excuse me, that's Kyle Wood. And then just cars on the track. You see why race control had to throw the caution there. But we are under yellow here. At the front of the field is Zachary Lindler. He started in 2nd position. He's up 1 spot. Behind him, Nicholas Stockner, his former Clemson teammate, Zach Lindler, now at Lamar Ryan. Behind them, Jordan Johnson up 6 spots. A couple drivers who have made significant gains through the field. Athena Leclerc is up 11 spots to the 5th position. Alexander Pacini up 15. Jeremy Rogers up 12. And Austin DeLong up 15. Our biggest losers from that event and that wreck were Thomas Toomey, Tyler Stone, Rhett Crane, all down 16 spots and out of this race. As the pace car makes his way out of the boot now. Pace car lights are still on, as it looks like we're going to have 1 more lap to go once we get to the line. And not very often that road drivers get to sit behind the safety car. You know, in iRacing specifically, you see cautions come out all the time on the oval side, but really in official races for road races, you don't get the safety car. Not even in endurance races do you see the safety car as a road racer. So this is definitely a unique experience for some of these drivers, as we have pretty much 14 drivers of our 28 still remaining here in this race. 27, I should say. As at the front of the field, the pace car lights are they turning off? We'll see as we cross the line here. Barney waving that flag to the right there. Pace car lights do go off, so this is the last lap under the pace car. This is a timed race too, so just because we're under the caution does not mean that the time is extended for any reason. So expect to see some pretty hectic racing here, as only likely 13 or so minutes to go, maybe, once they get the green flag. Drivers weaving their cars, trying to get some heat into those tires. This track is fairly cold. You want to have as warm tires as you can off the restart, because it's going to be so important to get a good jump and get a good launch off of turn 1 so you can hold on to your positions. But don't expect to be unchallenged throughout turn 1, the S's in the bus stop on this restart, as Lindler continues to lead the field under caution here. Drivers weaving their tire in unison there. The 9 car of Esteban Munoz and Zach Lindler looking like they're doing a little bit of a dance together almost as they come through the bus stop now. 13 minutes remaining in this race as they come through the bus stop. It's going to be a fairly short sprint here now because of the safety car. Maybe only like 11 or 12 minutes once the pace car pulls into pit road. But this has bunched up the pack after that crazy incident we saw on the bus stop, which collected nearly a dozen cars. 15 drivers on the lead lap still. How many of them have damage? How many of them have had to come into the pit to maybe replace a front wing or a two? We'll see as some of our drivers who started at the front of the field now are near the back. Joshua Teagues, he's in 13th. He made it through the chaos in the bus stop without getting terminal damage, but down 10 positions. He started third and he's now 13th. Carmine Caruso started way up in, I believe, 5th. I'm trying to do simple math in my head, and I can barely do it. Caruso in 16th, down 9 spots. He's 1 lap down, but my timing tower is showing that he's out of this race. So Daniel Hunter still in the pit. Andrew Williams and Peter Gaspich both in the pit still. Maybe trying to repair some damage, but that's going to be tough for them to do, as a lot of damage in these open wheel cars tends to be terminal as they come to the exit of the... Oh my god, someone spun under caution. There's a spin under caution. It's Munoz. Munoz spins under caution. Looks like somebody got into the side of him, and Munoz was trying to warm up his tires too much. Very, Mick Schumacher-esque at Imola in the rain type spin as Munoz tries to regain a few positions now, and hopefully no damage came from that for him or any other drivers. That would be incredibly unfortunate. But the pace car is getting ready to pull off into the pits. Zachary Lindler is your leader. He's going to control the restart here momentarily as we have about 11.5 minutes to go here in race 2 for the CiL Finger Lakes Grand Prix race 2 as the pace car pulls into pit road. These drivers are lining up nose to tail right now, getting ready to go green here once again as Barney is getting ready to wave that flag as Lindler steps on the gas, and we are green here after the caution for the Finger Lakes Grand Prix. Looks like Stockner's under pressure from Jordan Johnson now coming down to turn 1. Stocker doing a good job of holding that inside line, but Jordan Johnson's going to try to hug that corner, and he's going to get a good exit towards the S's. We'll see if he pulls out before the S's. He does. He's going to go around the outside of turn 2. That's going to give him the inside for turn 3, but Stockner a good par through the S's at the moment, but Jordan Johnson doing a fantastic job keeping the power down and steaming around his outside, coming down the backstretch now. Jordan Johnson will get the move done before they even get to the braking zone, and behind them, Esteban Munoz wants to get a move done on Stockner as well, as Jordan Johnson gets that second position, and Munoz, he's going to try to undercut and go around Stockner. Can't quite do it. Throughout the field, looks like they're getting through the bus stop clean, but Jordan Johnson now, he wants the challenge for the lead as they come through the carousel. Trevor's doing a good job through the bus stop that time through. No major incidents there. Jeff Pete maybe spun, but no cars collected in that, as it looks like side by side. Looks like Munoz is making a move on Stockner down towards the heel of the boot. He's going to get that move done as they come down the backstretch now, but at the front of the field, Jordan Johnson only 2/10 behind Zach Lindler. Lindler's going to go defensive here, coming down towards the toe of the boot, inside line versus outside line. Who's going to prevail here? And it looks like Lindler's going to get the move done coming out of the toe, but Jordan Johnson can't quite get there to challenge for the position. He's going to have to wait another lap here maybe, as these next couple of corners are very difficult to overtake him. Front two have started to pull away a little bit here as Jordan Johnson tries to challenge for the lead, as a little bit wide Zachary Lindler goes through the penultimate corner, and coming out of the last corner now, Lindler continues to lead Jordan Johnson, but for how long? Jordan Johnson has had incredible pace in that 4 car all day. Challenged for the win in race 1. He's going to challenge for the win here in race 2 as well, as behind them, Stockner and Leclerc go side by side. Munoz seemed to have a little bit of a moment there. Side by side. Oh, someone's in that wall over there. It's Tina Leclerc. Athena Leclerc is in the wall. Looks like she was sliding through turn 1, but Jordan Johnson and Zachary Lindler here are fighting for the lead, coming down the backstretch towards the bus stop. Lindler on the inside. He's going to hug that line as much as he can. He's going to try to push Jordan Johnson outside as well, as they go side by side down the backstretch. Jordan Johnson made a move around the outside in race 1. Can he do it again in race 2? Zach Lindler hard on the brakes. It looks like... Oh, there's a little... Zachary Lindler on the curb in the bus stop. He gets loose and he almost collects Jordan Johnson. Jordan Johnson did a fantastic job of avoiding that contact there. He slammed on the brakes as that Zach Lindler drops through the field now. It looks like Lindler didn't get any significant damage unless he was collected by another car. Lindler's still going on. He's fighting Jeremy Rogers from Texas A&M now as he moves to the inside, entering the boot. He's going to try to hold around the outside of the heel of the boot, but Lindler on the curbs in the bus stop gets so loose, he loses the car, and he's unable to hold on to the lead. He's dropped from the lead down to 6th position now, maybe even 7th if he loses another spot to Dylan DeHeis behind. Coming down to the toe, Lindler looks like he's going to be able to get the position over Jeremy Rogers. He'll hold on to that 5th spot for now, as this is the closest bunch of cars on track at the moment for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Or, excuse me, just 5, 6, 7, 8. As Jordan Johnson at the front of the field is now pulled out a 2-second gap on Nicholas Stockner. He's going to want to see clean air in front of him for the rest of this race and just pull out that gap as much as he can. And try not to worry about spinning. He did spin last race, so hopefully that doesn't happen again for him, as Christian Hill now under pressure from Zach Lindler. As there's a bit of a spin in the final corner. It looks like that's Daniel Rodriguez potentially backs it into the wall as down the inside Zachary Lindler goes on Christian Hill. Christian Hill breaks super early. That's going to give Jeremy Rogers the opportunity to maybe make a move down in turn one. There's contact between the two of them. Down into the inside wall, that's Jeremy Rogers. Jeremy Rogers hard into the wall out of turn one. That's going to be the end of his race. Unfortunate for Jeremy. Looks like just a little bit of contact between him and Christian Hill coming in out of turn one. And that's unfortunate as Christian Hill is under pressure now from Dylan DeHeis. Those two are going to go side by side down the backstretch, and Dylan DeHeis is going to get the move done from Cayuga Community College and move himself up into the 6th spot as Christian Hill is able to hold on to the spot. Apologies. As those two are only tenths apart now, as Zachary Lindler wants to set his sight on the podium and try to chase down Esteban Munoz, as looks like Dylan's going to try to make a move down the inside of the entry of the boot at the moment, and it looks like he's going to get that done under braking. Fantastic move by him, as those 4 cars are under a blanket at the moment for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. As Athena Leclerc joins this fight again after, I believe, backing it into the wall earlier, potentially. We saw her have a spin through turn 1. She must have been able to collect it and continue on, as now she's only a 10th behind Christian Hill. As Dylan DeHeis in that Red Bull liveried car gets a little bit loose coming out of the toe. As it looks like Zach Lindler is able to stretch his legs a little bit, 2 seconds behind the podium at the moment, but Esteban Munoz is also chasing down Nicholas Stockner, who's about a second and a half between those two cars. There's only 6 minutes to go here in race 2. He had a caution period that took a good chunk of time as Dylan DeHeis, he takes Lapper into the wall. He's going to go hard onto that pit wall divider into the barrel. He loses it, and that's the end of his race for sure. Tough break for Dylan DeHeis in his CiL debut, as Christian Hill is going to see a little bit of the pressure he was under evaporate there. Just unfortunate from Dylan. Just a bit of a tank slapper coming out of that last corner, and he slapped the outside wall and then just lost it and slapped the inside wall right on that pit wall divider and those yellow barrels. That's got to hurt for him emotionally and physically, hitting that wall. As Christian Hill now under pressure from Athena Leclerc, who we saw spin through turn 1 earlier on. Leclerc is going to have the inside line in the bus stop. We'll see if she can get it done under braking, and no! Christian Hill does a good job around the outside of holding on to that spot. He's going to hold on to 5th for the moment, but for how long? As Athena Leclerc maybe got a little bit loose behind him. As further back to the field, Austin DeLong, Jeff Pete, Joshua Teagues are all side by side, nose to tail at the moment, as DeLong a little bit deep into the bus stop. Victor Roldan from St. Clair College is behind him as well. As Esteban Munoz has now closed within half a second of Nicholas Stockner in front of him. Munoz wants to get that second position and improve his finishing position from race 1 up 1 spot into position 2. As Athena Leclerc also seems to be trying to make a move to the inside of Christian Hill here. Can't quite get there in the end. Gonna have to tuck in behind for another couple corners, as at the front of the field, Nicholas Stockner is going to be under some heavy pressure here from Munoz coming into the penultimate corner of this lap. As Munoz looks inside, he looks outside, he can't quite get there. He's going to have to tuck in behind and try to make a move into either the last corner or the first corner of the lap, as he wants to go around the outside of Nicholas Stockner here potentially, as that's going to be a tough one to do around the last corner. But he's going to go inside now. A little bit of an over-under move potentially as they go side by side down the front stretch at the moment. Munoz on the inside, Stockner on the outside in that orange and purple machine. Those two want to hold on to that last podium position here potentially as Munoz dives at the inside of turn 1. He gets the move done. Behind them, Zach Lindler has caught up a lot here. He's on a flyer as Zach Lindler wants to recover the podium position he lost at the start of this race. Two former Clemson University teammates in Stockner and Lindler, they want to go at it here. They're no longer teammates as Christian Hill under pressure from Athena Leclerc now is Athena Leclerc has made the move into turn 1 and potentially the bus stop, but at the front of the field, Munoz and Stockner are going side by side. Stockner's going to get the move done into the bus stop, and Munoz wants to get the move done on the exit of the bus stop, and behind them, Christian Hill is able to regain the position from Athena Leclerc. Leclerc gained the position in turn 1, and Hill got it back in the bus stop as Munoz and Stockner go side by side through the carousel as well. Action happening throughout the field at the moment. This is for that last 2 podium positions at the moment. Munoz in second, Stockner in third, Lindler in fourth. Behind them, Christian Hill and Athena Leclerc having the battle of their own at the moment. Hill leading Leclerc as these cars move into the heel of the boot. A couple other battles throughout the field. DeLong is chasing down Jeff Pete, and Victor Roldan and Joshua Teagues are also trying to chase down DeLong and Pete as well. Only 12 cars on the lead lap. A lot of damage in this race. We saw a lot of attrition in race 1, and we're seeing a lot of it in race 2 again as Stockner defends from Lindler into the toe of the boot. Behind them, Leclerc and Hill are going side by side. Leclerc is able to get the move done as they disappear coming out of the boot. And looks like Hill's going to have the inside line as well coming out of the boot, but Leclerc able, I should say, to hold the position, and Leclerc is going to lead this lap of that battle. But at the front of the field, Jordan Johnson set a fastest lap of the race with a 1:46.1. We'll see how this battle between Lindler and Stockner plays out. As Stockner is he's going to try to go defensive on Lindler now. Lindler's going to try to make a move around the outside of turn 1. It's possible. Can he carry the speed? He's late on the brakes. Stockner locks up a little bit as he enters the corner, and Lindler does a good job of making the move around the outside of turn 1. That will move him up into the final podium position here in race 2 with only 2 minutes left. We'll see if he can pull away and maybe even challenge Munoz for a second position as well. Christian Hill is not giving up this fight with Athena Leclerc, though, as he looks inside and thinks better of it through the bus stop. Excuse me, as Hill does a good job of trying to follow Leclerc through and just make sure that he can stay close enough to make a move in one of these other corners coming up, as Jordan Johnson has a 12-second lead at the front of the field now. He's absolutely pulled away, and he's asserted his dominance on this field here in race 2. As Lindler also begins to pull away a little bit from Stockner. Now the gap between them about 4.5 to 5 seconds, or 5/10 of a second, I should say. As Christian Hill now only about 5/10 of a second back from Leclerc. He's fallen off a little bit. Leclerc wants that top 5 after starting pretty poorly. Both of these two drivers, they've done a good job in race 2, up 11 and 12 spots respectively between Leclerc and Hill. But at the front of the field, Jordan Johnson is coming out of the penultimate corner. He's going to get the white flag this time by Jordan Johnson. That 4 car has been rapid this second race. Spin in race 1 definitely hurt his chances in race 1, but he's coped brilliantly with the chaos of race 2, and he's going to lead the field for this final lap here in the CiL Finger Lakes Grand Prix. Nick Stockner from Clemson University, he's in 4th right now. He wants to get that last podium position from his former teammate, Zach Lindler. About 7/10 of a second behind. The bus stop might be his last chance if he can use that long straightaway to get up to that back bumper. As he spins through turn 1, Nick Stockner locks up the tires and he spins in turn 1. He's going to lose a ton of spots there. Comes back onto the track safely, but he's lost that 4th position, and now he's back down in 6th. He lost to Athena Leclerc and Christian Hill. As Christian Hill here, he wants to make a move on Athena Leclerc. Leclerc goes to the outside here, surprisingly, of the long back stretch. That's a very interesting move there. You would think you wanted to defend the inside line coming into the bus stop, but she must have something up her sleeve here, as Leclerc now behind Christian Hill for that 4th position at the moment. Christian Hill maybe a little deep into the bus stop, but Athena Leclerc follows him as they go into the carousel now. A little bit of contact between them potentially, front nose to rear wing. That was definitely interesting. That's going to cost Leclerc a ton of time. I'm not quite sure what Leclerc was thinking about giving up that inside line so easily on the last lap. I guess maybe she thinks she has the speed to catch up in the slipstream. I'm not sure, but Lindler is now within a second of Esteban Munoz for that 2nd and 3rd position. But nobody is catching Jordan Johnson at the front of the field. 14-second gap gained in about 11 minutes for Jordan Johnson. Absolutely incredible job, and he wasn't even leading off the restart of this race, as Christian Hill is going to have to defend here, maybe from Athena Leclerc, not quite. But Jordan Johnson coming through the final corner now. He's coped brilliantly with the chaos of the second race. Coming out of the last corner, he's going to win the CiL Finger Lakes Grand Prix at... Oh, he's going to spin across the line too, in style. Jordan Johnson spinning across the line to win race 2 of the Finger Lakes Grand Prix here in the CiL Formula C Series. Athena Leclerc, though, wants to challenge Christian Hill and drag race him to the line for that final spot, but I don't think she's going to get there in time. Esteban Munoz and Zach Lindler round out your podium. Christian Hill in fourth and Nathaniel Leclerc round out your top five with a great top five from both Hill and Leclerc, up 14 and 11 spots respectively in race two. Behind them, Nick Stockner, who spun from the fourth position earlier, will finish sixth. And Jeff Pete, we saw him have a feisty race earlier. He'll finish seventh. Austin DeLong up 18 spots in race two. He'll finish eighth, and Victor Roldan from St. Clair College will get a top 10 with Joshua Teagues following in behind. It looks like Rodriguez and Head both maybe out of this race with contact or damage at the end of it, as Rodriguez in the pit lane and Ethan Head is way further back on the track right now. Coming out of the boot now, not sure how that's going to be scored as Daniel Rodriguez takes the checkered flag for 11th, and Ethan Head will just cruise to that 12th place finish here tonight in the CiL Formula C race. But he's definitely taking his time. He doesn't want to wreck. He's got to save that fuel, save those tires. Like he's got to drive another race on them tonight. But at the front of the field, Jordan Johnson dominating race two. Esteban Munoz follows in behind him, and Zach Lindler just ran out of time to get that second position from Munoz for your podium finishers. Exciting race here in the Formula C series. We'll see if we can get some of our top three finishers to the booth here momentarily and get some interviews going. Always fun to see some unfamiliar faces on the podium. Esteban Munoz, he's definitely more of an oval driver, but he's got no speed on the roadside, which he showed tonight. And Zach Lindler, our Formula C series director, really, he takes the podium finish in his race tonight. That's a great job from him, as Jordan Johnson, our race winner, continues to burn it down on the front stretch. He's been burning it down for a long time now. Those tires must be screaming in pain, and well, you can't blame him for having a little bit of a celebration after what happened in race one. As looks like there's a car coming across the line now. Hopefully, there's no contact between them. We got to file a report with the motorsports authorities if we got crazy contact between them. But we'll see if we can get some of our top three finishers in here momentarily. Well, I think at the moment the only one we have in the waiting room at maybe we're gonna get more here in a second. All right. Well, on your screens right now is Zachary Lindler that's Espan Munoz. Zach Lindler from Lennar Ryan University. He's our third place finisher, and he's going to be joining us in the booth now. It's going to be Zachary Lindler. Zach, congratulations on a fantastic race tonight. We saw you have a little bit of a spin, a little bit of a moment in race two, and then you fought your way back to the podium. So go ahead, walk us through that.
I don't even know what to say right now. This season has been a struggle just finishing races. But I was able to come in with a fresh mindset of whatever happens, happens. This is the Glen. This is a fast track. I'm very good at faster tracks. Avoided both of the major incidents there, and I was excited to go toe to toe with Jordan right there after the safety car. But I think I caught a little too much curve there going into the bus stop for the first time right there after that. Spun the car, but I was able to get it looped around pretty good and came back out in front of most of the field. Had a pretty decent battle there kind of towards those last few laps with Esteban Munoz and Nick Stockner. But I was able to get around Nick for the podium position. So I'm just excited right now, man. First career podium. Let's go.
Zach, it's always fantastic to see you up here at the podium. But at the start of that race, we saw you with some of your former teammates battling it out. With Stockner. Go ahead and walk us through that dynamic, and were you worried about any retribution, if you were gonna maybe be raced harder, or were you gonna be raced easier than you would think?
Well, we were out there just having fun. I was actually still in a voice chat with all the Clemson guys and the OWR guys. So, but yeah, we were there to just have fun. We were side by side for a hot minute there. I know me and Nick went at it for the lead once or twice on that in that second race. But even the first race was a lot of fun, being able to chase them down and battle with them. So that was it was a lot of fun. I'm still just kind of in shock right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, Zach, we can definitely hear the excitement in your voice, and congratulations once again. Before we send you on your way this evening, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out on the broadcast?
Yeah, I want to shout out the Orange Wheeler Racing guys, Nick, Drew, Peter, Toomey, Christian. I think I got all of them that were in the race tonight. I want to shout out Lenore Ryan University. Glad I was able to represent them on such a high level and bring home first career podium for both myself and the school. But also, I want to shout out my parents. If you're watching, hi, I finally made it.
Well, Zach,
One more, and also to you for putting together these broadcasts. It's very weird being on the other side of the interviews because usually I'm the one giving the interview, not being interviewed. So you've done an incredible job with these broadcasts. Thank you so much.
well, thank you, Zach, and we can definitely hear the excitement in your voice, and we want to send you off on your way to celebrate now. So, congratulations once again on your third place finish this evening, and take it easy.
Thanks, man. You too.
And that was Zach Lindler from Lennar Ryan University, his first career podium for himself as well as that school. Always great to hear the excitement in these drivers' voices, and it's always a pleasure to be able to give these interviews as it's kind of the heat of the moment type stuff, and I want to see him on the podium once again sometime soon because he's been here in the CIL for a long time and he does a lot for this community and series. You can really thank the Formula C series to Lindler and his efforts to try to push that series together. But joining us in the booth now, it's going to be Esteban Munoz from Florida International University. Esteban, congratulations on two podium finishes tonight in race one and race two. Go ahead. We saw a bit of chaos at the start of race two. Go ahead, walk us through how you kind of navigated your way through that in the bus stop.
It was just a crazy, crazy race. I don't know. I honestly, I'm still sitting and watching the replay. I'm just saying, so I don't know how I was able to do that because there's only inches away from me. I think it was two males spinning out and then the wall. Just managed to snuck it through, but that's only the beginning because while coming to the green, I did probably really most embarrassing moment of my career. Half spun it, hit Leclerc, and broke my front wing in the process. But and then from there, it was just survival. Car was super unstable in the fast corners, especially in the chicane. So just surviving. Just had enough pace to get past on Stockner, but I saw Zach was catching me really quickly. But yeah, just managed to survive and get two podiums.
Yeah, Esteban, especially in that first race we saw, it was a bit quiet for you. You had a bit of a self spin in race one as well. Go ahead, walk us through what happened there, and after that spin, were you just more worried about kind of keeping it on the road from there and not worrying about position?
In Heat 1, I don't know. I thought I had a shot to win the race, just staying behind Jordan and Chris. Unfortunately, in that self spin, just clipped the curb wrong. Simple as that, and just looped it. Luckily, we had enough gap to the cars behind, so I just kept going. And I think after that, I was just very consistent, just hitting my marks every lap, and just being by myself, just focusing, just hitting my marks, and yeah, just and getting a podium in the process.
Well, Esteban, congratulations once again on your double podium finish this evening. Before we send you on your way, does anybody want to thank or shout out on the broadcast this evening?
I just want to thank CIL for putting this on. I want to thank you, man. I don't know how you did this on your own, to be honest. Pretty cool. I also want to thank FIU and Panther Esports for the support. Yeah, we'll push on for the next race.
Absolutely, Esteban. It's always a pleasure to see you up at the front of the field and racing for wins and podiums. So take it easy, and we hope to see you up here again sometime soon.
All right, man. Take care.
That was Esteban Munoz from Florida International University. He's rounding out your second place finishers this evening in race two. Also finished third in race one, so double podium for him. Great effort after a bit of adversity in race one and race two to hold off and contain that third place in race one and second in race two. But now it's the man you've all been waiting for. Your winner for this evening is going to be Jordan Johnson from Kent State University joining us in the booth. Jordan, congratulations on the race two win and race one runner up finish. We saw you have a bit of a spin in race one. Go ahead, walk us through what happened there and how you recovered from that.
Yeah, it was a simple case of just pushing too hard. I saw that I was losing Chris with the draft, and I incorrectly assumed it was because of my pace, not realizing that he was making mistakes. And I pushed the brake bias one click back just to try to get things a little bit more on edge. I pushed my brake marker a little bit further in. It was just too much, and car went around. But I was happy to at least be able to keep it out of the wall and keep going. But just simple racing mistake, honestly.
Yeah, Jordan. And then we saw in race two a bit of chaos at the front of the field, and you kind of had to navigate your way through that. And we saw in the broadcast you just barely scraped by, and you went from pretty much ninth to third within pretty much a corner and a half. So walk us through what happened from your perspective in the bus stop for race two, and kind of how you approached the race from there.
Yeah, I mean, I've done probably easily in the double digits of F4 races here at Watkins, so it was a track I was very, very comfortable with, not even coming in with no practice. But I knew it was going to be chaotic coming into the bus stop first lap, so I just tried to get myself a lane to be clear. Make sure that if anything did happen, I at least had the inside line to get out. Because if you're on the outside, all the cars are going to come out there anyways, and you have to squeeze between the wall, and you're just never going to make it through. So it was a bit of predicting the chaos, and then it came. I was lucky enough to get a lane to come through. Some other people were not. A bit of preparation, but at the end of the day, when things start kicking off like that, it's just always going to be luck at the end of the day. And you can try to better your chances, but it's never guaranteed.
Well, Jordan, we saw really once you got past that chaos in race two, you were able to get to the front of the field quickly and just dominate from there and really earn that race victory for the second race. But before we send you on your way this evening, is anybody you want to thank or shout out tonight on the broadcast?
Oh yeah, of course, Pure Sims Esports, my team, massive help they've been, and thank you for all their support. And then of course our partners and sponsors, SimLab, Cube Controls, SimSports, OBP Esports, Night Riders Designs, and FreeM. Uh, Appreciate everything that they give us and the opportunity for us to race like we do.
Well, Jordan, once again, congratulations on your race two victory and your race one runner up. And it's always fun to see you at the top of the field and definitely showing us what some of the quick guys can do around some of these tracks. So, congratulations once again. We hope to see you again in the booth sometime soon, though.
Thank you.
And that was Jordan Johnson from Kent State University. He won our second race of the evening, and he came second in our first race. So that's going to wrap it up here at the CiL tonight for the Formula College Championship. Uh, Running through your final grid for this evening. Looks like it's going to be that's heat one. Rounding out your second race of the evening, Jordan Johnson from Kent State University is your winner in a dominating race 13.6 seconds over your runner-up Esteban Munoz from FIU, with Zach Lindler in his first career podium from Lennar Ryan University, just a couple of tenths behind Munoz. Christian Hill is going to round out your fourth position with Athena Leclerc in fifth, Nick Stockner in sixth from Clemson University, with Jeff Heat in seventh. Austin DeLong rounds out eighth from Pennsylvania College of Technology, Victor Roldan from St. Clair in ninth. Joshua Teagues from Buena Vista University started in the top five for the race, but ended up getting in an incident early on and finished 10th. And Ethan Head from University of Tennessee in 11th. Daniel Rodriguez will round out your lead lap finishers. We had multiple incidents throughout that second race that took out a lot of cars, including some of our top five cars from race one. Drivers include Dylan Denhase, excuse me. I don't know if I've gotten that name right all night, but from Cayuga Community College in his CIL debut, just a little bit of a self spin out of the last corner. He gets some terminal damage. He's in 13th. Jeremy Rogers from Texas A&M in 14th. Pacini from Universidad Federal de Santa Maria in 15th, with Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College. Unfortunate night for him, getting caught up in two incidents on lap one in both races in 16th. Carmine Caruso in 17th from St. John's University also caught up in the incidents. And our race one winner, Chris Preston, caught up in that bus stop incident in race two as well in 18th. Rounding out your back of the pack drivers, Louis Diaz from FIU in 19th, Rhett Crane in 20th. Andrew Williams from Clemson, he started on pole for race two, ended 21st. Peter Gaspich, or excuse me, Andrew Williams didn't start on pole for race two, but he finished 21st nonetheless. Peter Gaspich from Clemson in 22nd. Tyler Stone from St. Clair in 23rd. Thomas Toomey from Virginia in 24th. And Kyle Wood, Daniel Hunter, and R. Muhammad Ali round out your bottom three drivers, all caught up in lap one incidents in race two. Unfortunate from them. But that's going to about do it here from the CIL for the CIL Finger Lakes Grand Prix for the Formula C Championship. Join us tomorrow night as the CIL GT3 Challenge heads off to the Monza double sprint at Monza. The GT3 Challenge, the Tin Top's going to take on that iconic Temple of Speed. Don't miss it tomorrow night, same place, same time. You're looking for some oval action next week, Monday and Tuesday. We got CIL Cup action from Dover on Monday night, the Monster Mile 120 for the Prospect Series. And then on Tuesday, the Premier Series takes on the Monster Mile 170, 50 more laps than the Premier Series drivers. And if you're looking for the CIL Formula C Championship race in 2 weeks' time on Monday, November 28th, it's the Austrian Grand Prix from the Red Bull Ring. So, from everyone here at the CIL, myself, Matthew Nordberg, and everyone who makes these broadcasts possible, from producers, commentators to drivers, we thank you for tuning in tonight. We hope to see you again sometime soon to see some CIL action. Thank you.